Okay, yesterday on June 8th, 2019, I went on a 2 hour trip to a bonsai place that I had found over the weekend online. And I brought home three trees. I thought the place is pretty good. They're called Meehan's Miniatures. Um, for the three I know around that are around me, which conveniently are all 2 hours away from me, I think it's one of the better ones for what material they have in selection. Um, I will put um, their website in the description if anybody wants to check them out. They do. You can call them. They have a little bit available on their website, but it's like nothing compared to what they have. Yeah. If you are looking for something, you can call them. And from what my research I did into them, they seem to be very accommodating to help you find a good tree. Um, if you call them up, see what they have. They had a lot of different stuff. Um, they had a lot of conifers, a lot of tropicals too. They seem to really be big into tropicals, and but from what I read, they're pretty accommodating on helping you find a good tree. They'll send you pictures of stuff, and now I didn't experience this part on my own. This is just stuff reviews. I picked up several reviews where people said they were really good on the phone. So, and if you're within driving range of them, maybe you'll want to visit them, and they have their address on there. I will say, when you go to find them on the road they're on, they do not have a sign for the business. So the address will take you to their actual house, which is right out by the road. Their greenhouses and area where they have the trees are back behind the house and off to the left side of the house if you're facing from the road, and the driveway, the road to that is far on that left side of the property. So if you use GPS, you'll most likely be directed to their house, and it would be further down the road from the left of their house, the driveway to uh, the greenhouses. But once you're there, you'll see you drive down the road a little bit and you'll see the greenhouses. It's easy to find. And I will say, I'm not being paid for these, for this promoting them. I just really liked them. Had a good experience, so I figured I'd share. This first tree I got is a dawn redwood. It's not the greatest one. I mean, for branch structure, but of the ones they had, this was the thicker one they had, and I like the look of the trunk. I don't like this top part, just the way it grew, and it still needs to be cleaned. But what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking about cutting it here and then growing this as the new leader. For one, it has some taper down at the bottom, a little bit of taper at the bottom, which I'm going to leave this to help with taper. And then it kind of goes up. There's a little bit of taper, but from here on here, there's just really not enough. It's a lot straight. I don't really care that it's straight, really straight, but that straight is a little bit. So I'm thinking about wiring this up as the new leader. It's pliable enough; it should work. And going from there, cutting that back, developing it. I had a dawn redwood years ago in my old collection, and I really like it. It's just one of those. Unlike the rest of the redwoods, it actually is deciduous and loses its needles. They'll turn yellow and fall off in the winter. in the fall and then in the winter. This one's got a little bit of dry tips. Other than that, it looks healthy. I think it just, sometimes you find that in big, in places that are big, sometimes they don't always, nothing has, some of the stuff doesn't have perfect, it's not always perfect. You'll find some dry leaves, dried stuff. And it's like I said, it's just the tips. Everything else looks really healthy, so I'm not concerned about that. I just cut them off for now and go from there. So that's that. Then I bought a sarissa. Now, this one has been wired into an S. I didn't buy it for that. I'm going to cut it somewhere down here. I want this a small tree, but I bought it for the, it had a pretty good, for the size, it had a pretty good, for what I want to make it into. It's got a pretty good size trunk, so that's why I bought this one. I'm just going to take this wire out. Honestly, I don't need it. I just don't need it. It's just a wire they put in to give it a nest. As you can see, it's already pretty much taken that S. I mean, that might grow out some because it probably hasn't. He said it wasn't there long, so. But I'm gonna cut this back somewhere back here, probably right at this one, and leave this grow up. Cut it here. And we're going to develop it into a small tree. So there's that. This I am very excited about. It is a procumbent nana. I think I pronounced that first part of it right. Procumbent nana juniper. And I seen this and I fell in love with it. I see a lot of potential in this. What I'm seeing so far, what I'm thinking of doing, is just going to develop this a little bit. It just needs to be refined, I think. Thinned out a little, fine, trimmed, edges trimmed, made pads. The top is in pretty good. I think the top is pretty good shape. There's maybe a hole here that needs to be filled. Some of these ends will have to be come off. But the top is pretty good. Then I see a lot of this stuff here in this area taken out, and to show the trunk. This one I probably will keep on, but I will probably bring it up and try to straighten it out a little just to make a pad here. And then this stuff will make a pad. And I'm thinking the tree, and I'm thinking some of this gets trimmed off or back in the back just to bring this back and forward. Develop this maybe out a little more, maybe develop a little bit of a I mean, it already cascades some anyways, but this is a cascade already. I mean, I'm thinking not a major cascade like some of my other ones, but just cascading a little out down in front, and having the tree basically have a flow like this. Have a flow like this. So this would come up. This would probably be cut back maybe to here. There'd be a pad here. There'd be probably pads on this back side, front side, and make this into something too. Those are my ideas for it. I'll rotate and show you. There's plenty of dead stuff in here, which is normal, pretty much normal if you buy a juniper. The insides get shaded out, and you got a lot of dead stuff inside. This is, this has not been trained as a bonsai. I mean, it probably was trained to grow up a little bit. I'm sure, because most junipers are not going to grow that high without a little bit of encouragement. 12 inches is maybe the max they'll usually grow. At least these, from what I've seen, left to grow on their own, 12 inches is about the max. This is probably, this is more than a foot from here to here. Not by much, but still, they're not going to, and it would take forever. And I mean, this has probably been growing quite a while to get this. But I just thought this was a good find and a really good start. It has a nice thick trunk, fairly thick trunk, so that's good. I don't know I really have no idea what the base looks like, just because it's just, there's so much stuff in here. I have to clean it out to see the base of it. And then it ain't going to get repotted until spring. So I should take this out. I don't think it needs this anymore. It's just a bamboo stick they had stuck in there. Probably that was what was holding it up before it really, I mean, it's holding itself up now, but I mean, that was probably used originally to get it up in this upward motion, upward pattern. Thinking this might go, or at least be pulled back. So we'll see that one in the future. So that's just showing my 3 new trees I got from that that bonsai place I found. Like I said, I will put their website in the thing if you've never heard of them. Their website in the description at the bottom if you want to check them out. I thought they were very helpful and great place for finding material. I think. I mean, I'm sure if I would have went a month or two before, when they probably got some new stuff in, there would have been more of some other stuff, because it looks like they had some maples, but a lot of them were tagged and I think already sold. Usually that's what that means, is, they tag them, they've sold them already, they just haven't shipped them out. But I might have found some maples maybe. I mean, they had a lot of small maples. I got small maples, so I was looking for something a little more developed if I was looking for a maple. And they did have some stuff. I wasn't interested in some Japanese maples. I don't like in particular on the leaves for them. So if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you next time.